Welcome back. Let's continue our discussion with Allen Valentine, president of Elite Casino Marketing Group. Allen, so you're out there in New York somewhere doing your thing, and you spent some time at the Taj and the Plaza, Atlantic City. Tell us about Atlantic City a little bit, the love. I mean, we based the show here.
I fell in love with it like you did, and as we were talking during the break, people like Pinky Kravitz, who, my first TV appearance was on Pinky's show, and I was so nervous. And actually, at the time, one of my dancers' assistants was my wife, Christine, at the time. And he was so nice to us and so sweet, and as we discussed during the break, Pinky was just such a legend, such a wonderful man.
Yeah,
so,
he just did
really
so much. That's Mr. Atlantic City.
Yeah. But he had that love that you have, that I have, that others have for this town.
Right, and so glad that he brought it here from wherever he was from, and we know. And the same thing with you, because you've brought so much laughter, so much happiness. People get caught up in life, and whether it's music, entertainment, or whatever it may be, or walk on the boardwalk, the beach, what you do, the shows, takes us away for a couple hours. And listen, we go back to reality. This is what I want to talk about now in this segment with you. I mean, you have so many shows, but talk to some of the shows that you've recently had, and then we're going to talk about what's going on this summer.
I will, and to just piggyback what you just said, it's true when people are in our theater and they're having a great time and they're in our world and they're forgetting about whatever's going on in their lives for just that hour, it feels great. It feels really good. It makes it all worth it. What we have going on this year has been a lot. We had Dance to the Music at Hard Rock. It was a 60s show that had a wonderful run that was just turned out to be a powerhouse production. And then we have Back to the 80s running now at Borgata, which is just Prince, Madonna, Michael Jackson, and my team and I picking the songs for that show, probably the hardest thing ever, because the 80s, and not to the 60s, but being kind of a person of that was my era, right? We're similar in age, so it was tough. And to also decide to not use ballads, to just go all up-tempo the whole show was, but it paid off. It's a wonderful show. And then that closes, and then right after that we go into rehearsals for our 10-year anniversary of the burlesque show at Borgata. It's our 10th anniversary show. We opened in 2013, and just am stunned. And every year, what I think what makes that show such a staple at Borgata is that every year we do a 100% reboot of the entire production. It's a brand new show every year, which is some effort, and I think the customers now know that. We bump into customers and say, "What are you guys doing next year?" They can't wait to see it. Then,
before you go on to that, though, but I have to stop there. 10 years. Listen, I mean, I know there's some shows maybe out in Vegas, one out a few years. I don't recall shows here on the East Coast, not just Atlantic City, that have run that long.
It's very, very rare in Atlantic City. Yeah, it really is. And so we feel very fortunate, and we realize that the show, and thanks to Borgata has been just a wonderful partner.
Who was the clever one that saw you and kept you there?
Initially, Joe Lupo.
Joe Lupo, okay.
Joe Lupo and Michael Woodside, and a gentleman named Paul Merrick wisely said, because at the time, a burlesque show in Atlantic City seemed like a kind of dicey idea. But the show is very elegant. It's almost more of a folly show with a wonderful comedian, Chris Morris, and variety acts, and our burlesque girls are really renowned burlesque stars around the world. So and I think people sense right away it's an authentic show. Once that opens, then we go into rehearsals right away for a new variety show called Euphoria at Hard Rock. And that's a pretty wild show. It's going to have 5 variety acts, singers, dancers, musicians, all working together to create these routines. That's going to be very unique. So we're excited about that. And then after that, we're very excited. Our show at Resorts opens June 25th. It's called Disco Inferno. Just a huge disco show. And very excited about that as well. And especially for Resorts, it's their first time doing a production show in many, many years. So the team there at Resorts is excited and doing everything they can to get the word out. So
I can't
it's a busy season for us. Yeah.
So when you talk about that Resorts and some of the theaters, I get caught up in places. You know what I mean? The history, and I would take it as Superstar Theater at Resorts.
Yeah.
It's just
Frank Sinatra played there.
Go ahead. Yeah. I mean, how do you get that? How do you top that? Variety show. Now let's drop back. That to me sounds like that's something that could be a TV show as well. I mean, has that ever been the thought of yours when you start creating these shows, and maybe this could drop in, or you get some calls?
Yeah, some things for sure. Yeah, we've had a few shows that I think this could be at least a TV special for sure. Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. I love it. So Atlantic City, again, we're going to come back here. What do you see as far as, I mean, we went through a rough time. I mean, when we first met in person together, it was that COVID time. Do you feel that it's lifted the people who are out and breathing and coming up to the shows?
Yes. I mean, the one thing that took a huge hit during the pandemic was live entertainment, right? Broadway shows, Cirque du Soleil, Bruce Springsteen, anything live took a real hit for a year and a half. And now I think it's like a rubber band. It's bounced back in a way where our theaters are packed. People are just excited to be out, to be sitting in a theater with other people. I mean, it's a very good feeling. It's
strong. Like I said, and I'm going to drop back, and I don't mean to bring it back up.
Sure.
But I remember that was the first show that I had went to, was your show. I think we were sitting 6 feet, 5 feet apart, different.
This was the Motown show.
Was that the Motown show?
The Motown show.
Which was a
Motor
great
City
show,
Live.
killer show. Tell us about that show a little bit.
Wow, yeah, Motor City has become a monster production. That's played it really has become something. It started in when the Hard Rock first opened. The first show that we launched with was that one. And it just out of the gate. And because people who love Motown are so passionate about that music. And I think especially for the casino crowd, it hits the right demographics, and it just really has become a very special show. An enormously talented cast, too.
That's what I was going to talk about.
Insanely talented cast.
Do you use a lot of the same cast? But now you have multiple shows, so you still have to go out there for rehearsals.
We kind of call it spreading the love around. We try to give performers who've been working for us sometimes a couple of shows off, bring in some new talent, but certainly keep the integrity of the people that we feel are right for a certain show. That's the other thing also, is making sure that person's vocal range is right for the songs that we're picking. So there's some involvement that goes into that,
That's amazing. Listen, Alan, I sit here and I smile and I laugh because I keep going back to Mom getting you and just to all this that's going on.
Could you imagine if she came out with juggling clubs? What would happen in my life?
Right. It's just one of those things. And what I want you to do, we got about a minute or so left. And as we sit here at Stockton University, and we have an adult audience as well, but just some advice, to not just the youth, but to all of us. When you have an idea to do something, whether you're 24 or 58.
Follow your heart. It's been said a billion times, right? But it's really true. If you have a passion in life like you, look what you've done, Mike, in Atlantic City. It's very impressive. And I think that you've followed your heart. And I think that finding something that you have a passion for, pursuing it, hopefully making enough of a living at it, equals up, I think, to a happy life. Not everyone's fortunate enough to be able to do that, but if you are able to pursue a goal, if you have that moment in your life where I can either turn left or right, and one of those directions is pursuing my goal, and the other one may be practical. I'm not the most practical person, so take what you will from this advice, but I decided to follow my heart. And follow my passion.
And there it is. So just don't give up. Follow your passion.
Right.
Go out there. Ask questions. We were speaking about that as well.
Yeah.
And you never get anything if you don't ask, right?
That's true.
Right. So
take a swing at the bat.
Hey, folks, Alan, I want to thank you.
It's great, Mike.
Appreciate you coming out. Listen, we're going to have to do this again, and
I'd
love to even get you on the radio show. We do a little
radio
radio show.
Absolutely.
We cross-pollinate here with the TV and the radio show. So we thank you so much. Folks, Allen Valentine, thank him again for being on the show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, folks.